against insurgency through intelligence gathering. Federal Ministry of Power announces restoration of electricity supply to Maiduguri, northeast Nigeria. And as Ramadan comes to an end, the Sultanate enjoins Muslims to look out for the moon, just as Inspector General of Police mandates commands across the country to ensure watertight security during celebrations. Hello there, so good to have you join us on NTA International News. I am Oku Ekpeyong. Spain has pledged to assist Nigeria in fighting insurgency through intelligence gathering. The Spanish ambassador to Nigeria announced this at a meeting with the Speaker of House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo has more on the meeting.
This part of deadly attacks by Boko Haram in Nigeria in the last 6 years attracted a number of foreign interventions, especially from neighboring countries. Spain has now joined countries that have pledged to support Nigeria in the fight against the terrorists. The meeting with Speaker Dogara, the Spanish ambassador to Nigeria, Alfonso Sebastian, stated that the two countries agreed to enhance their bilateral relations through exploring new opportunities of partnership, especially in the areas of security, agriculture, power, tourism and parliamentary friendship.
Muslim intelligence, we are right now negotiating intelligence and training. We are right now negotiating an agreement with different agencies from Nigeria, and that includes the fight against terrorism.
Speaker Dogara also called on Spanish businessmen to invest in Nigeria's solid mineral sector.
In the area of treaties and agreements, London, of course, as a continent, we are aware of agreements entered into between Nigeria and Spain in the past by past governments. These agreements and treaties are something that we intend to give them force of law. Very soon we are going to have a committee in the House of Representatives that will look at some of those treaties that we've not been able to domesticate so that we can quickly do so.
They want to engage, they want to bring their own expertise to building our capacity in the area of, training our armed forces, training our intelligence personnel.
This is the fourth time a foreign ambassador will be visiting the Speaker through the House went on research. It is very significant to know that all the four ambassadors pledged to support Nigeria in the fight against insurgency. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Still talking security, the Inspector General of Police, Solomon Arase, has mandated command commissioners of police nationwide on improved and watertight security during and after Salah celebrations. Consequently, special attention will be paid to all places of worship, critical public places, and other vulnerable points prone to criminal attack. The Police High Command is hopeful that the operational strategies adopted by the force and renewed collaboration with the public will yield positive results. While felicitating with Muslims as they round off the Ramadan fast, the IGP enjoins them and other citizens to maintain utmost vigilance and courageously continue to support the police and provide useful information towards preventing and unearthing crimes and their perpetrators. Into religious matters, the Sultanate Council of Sokoto has requested the Muslim community to look out for the new moon of Shawwal on Thursday, the 16th of July. A statement issued by the Chairman, Sultanate Advisory Committee on Religious Affairs, Professor Sambo Wali Junaid, said if sighted, the nearest village or district head should be contacted for onward communication to the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar. And they need the Muslims who fasted during the whole month of Ramadan to pay Zakatul Fitr as commanded in the Holy Quran, to make their spiritual commitment accepted and their shortcomings forgiven by Allah has been emphasized. Abdullahi Ajia examines this religious task of Zakatul Fitr, payable to the needy on or before the Eid al-Fitr prayer.
In the light of the glorious Quran and the teachings of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Zakatul Fitr is an important aspect in Islam. The complement and complete the Ramadan fast for acceptance. Islamic scholars maintain that this spiritual act is mandatory by those who can fit themselves to use it to cleanse their deeds and actions, especially their shortcomings during the holy month. Zakat al-Fitr, scholars explain, is an act of ibadah starting from 2 days to the Eid al-Fitr and before the Eid prayer.
In Surah Al-A'la, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَزَكَّى وَذَكَّرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ وَصَلَّى. Such a person who tries to cleanse himself has succeeded. He becomes a successful Muslim. All those little things that we are forbidden to do, as a human being, you are not perfect. If you come by them, that zakat al-fitr will erase them for you and make your fasting intact.
Very important for every Muslim to pay his zakat al-fitr before going to the Eid grounds.
In the interest of believers, it was also established that 4 handfuls of 2 pounds of grains or using the required measure per person should be given to the needy.
To make the poor ones, the needy happy on Salah day. While you are rejoicing and you are happy in your home, eating different kind of foods, we want those who are not in position to buy food for themselves, who cannot even feed themselves, to be happy too. That is why you are supposed to pay them that zakat al-fitr, so that they can have what to eat with their family, that will make them happy, that will show that they are also celebrating Salah.
However, the grains can be monetized if it is more convenient to the giver and the beneficiary.
Remember that a teaching time saves time, just like the scholars said. It is better to do the zakat al-fitr within this time frame, because doing it after the Eid al-Fitr prayer is termed as doing sadaqah. In Abuja, I am Abdullah Jia, NTA News.
Other matters now, the Federal Ministry of Power has restored electricity supply in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, after the attack on some power installations by the Boko Haram militants. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Ambassador Governor Zigali, announced this at a meeting with owners of electricity distribution companies on the way forward in the power sector.
For the past 2 weeks, residents in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, have been experiencing total blackout following an incident of buried mines left behind by the fleeing Boko Haram militants, which 8 persons, including Transmission Company of Nigeria (TCN) staff, lost their lives. Power has, however, been restored. The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Power, Ambassador Godness Ogali, who chaired the meeting with the stakeholders in the power sector, commended the security agencies for winning the war against gas pipeline vandalism, which has contributed to the current appreciable level of power supply. This, however, he noted, is not an invitation to relax, as the distribution companies must rise to the occasion in improving the power supply beyond the present 4,600 megawatts, as President Buhari places high premium in the power sector. Mr. Oji, who spoke on behalf of his colleagues, promised to work closely with the new administration. Mr. Haji, however, appealed to the federal government to bridge identified gaps like non-cost reflected tariff, losses at takeover, and to increase the generation capacity. In Abuja, Mia Ogidi, NTA News.
Bearing in mind that Nigeria desires to be among the top 20 economies of the world by the year 2020, the conduct of citizens in their various capacities to build the nation is critical. Justin Ben-Oyi takes a look at the place of the common man in positively driving Nigeria's development process and the need to change any pessimistic attitude. The reports.
Every Nigerian describes the ideal nation as one that is democratic, united, peaceful and developed. An ideal government as one that is responsive and transparent. An ideal Nigeria is where there is peace. Everybody is happy and there is progress where there is no more corruption. An ideal society is a collective society, it's a collective enterprise.
Where social justice is where we are trying to develop as peace.
Some, however, believe that it is the sole responsibility of the government and elites to build an ideal nation, in spite of the fact that Nigeria as a nation starts right outside every man's home. Analysts say the role of the common man
is far greater than and forms the basis of all the efforts of the political parties, governments, organizations and institutions towards nation building.
The civic duties have to be followed to the letter, which includes your taxes, payment of the taxes, respect for the law, respect for government. It's all about the kind of policy we have and the leadership we have. We have a leadership that is exemplary, people-driven, that starts from itself to be disciplined, accountable, transparent. The spillover effects or multiplier effects of that can later be imagined. People will do likewise. So I believe the power rests with the people, not just the leaders, because they are just servants who serve for a specific time.
I wonder if people are going to insist that our vote must count. They've done most of the job. Now, I have an issue with people who control us is that we haven't understood what to ask of the leader during elections. They say it is high time every citizen, irrespective of tribe and religion, roll up their sleeves to work and move the country forward.
We all have a task in nation building, so be the change you desire to see. Within your own confines, contribute your own quota towards the development of Nigeria to become a better society. In Abuja, Justin Bemu, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International live from Nigeria's capital. For another look at the major stories, we told you that Spain has pledged assistance to Nigeria in intelligence gathering to contain insurgency. Speaker of Representatives in Abuja said this when he met with the ambassador to Nigeria. He also heard that electricity supply has been restored to Maiduguri, Borno State, northeast Nigeria. Ahead in the news, gender activist brainstorm towards promoting gender mainstreaming. And wife of former ambassador to Nigeria challenges groups and individuals to help discover hidden talents in the less privileged. Stay with us for details of these and more after the break.
You are watching NTA, Nigerian Television Authority. For more information and news updates, visit our website at www.nta.ng, or you can follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now, or you can like us on Facebook at NTA Network News. Stay connected on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Watch our live stream at www.nta.ng/live. NTA, you can't take the risk.
Ahead of his planned visit to the United States, President Muhammadu Buhari has met with key individuals and organizations aimed at properly articulating Nigeria's agenda to the bilateral talks. Among them is the former Commonwealth Secretary General, Chief Emeka Anyaoku. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
President Muhammadu Buhari's meeting with the former Commonwealth Secretary General, Chief Emeka Anyaoku, held behind closed doors, discussed issues relating to his planned meeting with the United States President Barack Obama next week in Washington, D.C.
I put at his disposal the benefits of my long experience on governance matters. Of course, we touched on some national issues because of the policy and domestic policies.
Chief Anyaoku did not give details about his discussion with the president, but said he finds in the Nigerian leader a man that is focused, trustworthy, and has the interests of Nigeria at heart.
I found myself talking with a president who is very determined to effect a real change in the circumstances of our country, and very determined to bring to bear on his administration the generally perceived attributes of his character, for which I believe that many Nigerians voted for him.
I believe that he is determined to fight corruption and that he will go a long way.
President Buhari also held a strategic meeting with some permanent secretaries, including those of Foreign Affairs, Power, Defense, Trade and Investment, as well as heads of key government agencies on the upcoming visit to the United States. The meeting reviewed the program of activities for the visit and analyzed issues that may come up during the bilateral meeting between Nigeria and the United States.
While in the United States, we will not only speak to the President of the United States, Barack Obama, he will have an opportunity to meet the wider public, and so he will share his vision. He will share the program that he has brought with him into office, and of course will sell those potential areas that Nigeria would want partnership, as well as to call for support in the areas that Nigeria will need support. Top on the list will be support in the security challenges we are facing in the northeast of the country.
The permanent secretary, who confirmed that there was a strained relations between Nigeria and the United States in the past, however, said with the election of President Muhammadu Buhari, the situation has changed for the better.
The renewed interest will arise naturally, one will say, from the manner of victory of President Muhammadu Buhari. And number two, the overwhelming support that he got in Nigeria. And for the United States to invite him within his first 2 months in office, it attests to the fact that he enjoys tremendous goodwill, he is recognized for his legitimacy, and besides that, I must add, his personal quality as an incorruptible individual is what has really sold him as a leader of credibility.
President Buhari also granted audience to some prominent Nigerians from various backgrounds, including a publisher and columnist, Chief Dele Momodu, where issues on the way forward for Nigeria were discussed.
Today he reassured me that not only does he know what he is doing, he is determined to make Nigeria work. And I'm happy. He said we should argue with him, we should tell him if things are going wrong, and we should not be afraid. And for a man who has been maligned for so many years, saying he doesn't like the press, he doesn't like, so it's a welcome development.
Chief Dele Momodu, who confirmed that President Muhammadu Buhari reads voraciously and has high regards for journalists, said his discussion with him was frank and touched on many issues, including insecurity, the fight against corruption, and the affirmative action for women. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News. Meanwhile, security, war against terrorism, trade and economic relations will top the agenda of President Buhari's visit to the United States, where he is expected to hold talks with President Barack Obama and other senior officials of the United States government. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, says President Muhammadu Buhari will discuss with President Obama and other U.S. government officials measures to strengthen and intensify bilateral and international cooperation against terrorism in Nigeria and West Africa. President Buhari, who leaves Abuja on Sunday, will meet President Obama at the White House on Monday, and later that day will hold talks with the Chairman of the United States Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Martin Dempsey, and the Deputy Secretary of Defense, Robert Work, on military and defense cooperation. The President will also meet with Vice President Joe Biden and other top U.S. government officials to seek support on the administration's war against corruption and the effort to boost trade relations between Nigeria and the United States. He will be accompanied by the Governor of Imo, Nasarawa, Edo, Borno and Oyo States, as well as the Governor of the Central Bank and permanent secretaries of the Ministries of Defense, Foreign Affairs, Trade, Industry and Investment. President Muhammadu Buhari will also take advantage of the visit to reunite with members of the American War College class of 1980, in which he was a distinguished participant. The President is due back in the country on Thursday next week. And there are suggestions for the advancement of Nigeria's national interest during diplomatic negotiations in talks with other countries, especially developed economies. Talato Ezike reports that this was a submission on NTA's current affairs program, Tuesday Live.
It is countdown to President Muhammadu Buhari's visit to the United States is to develop skills, strategies towards empowering citizens towards mainstreaming gender in our society. In this aspect of life, women are not sufficiently represented. Women do not sufficiently benefit in education, in economy, in politics. Just minutes. The first persons at the workshop pointed out that the key action plan framework is to identify gender concerns, which include policy goals and targets.
The package in this meeting is we should possess the capacity to design a national plan and evaluate that action plan.
Participants expressed their views.
Now that we know the wrong things we do, so we try after the presentation and the impact of knowledge we put on it, we now go back to a guide in implementing our own strategic plan and then use it to do our advocacy campaign to the rural people. As a woman in national conference, you have what it takes. You have to believe in yourself and then you have to develop yourself to field position. It doesn't matter what it is. It may be in health, it may be in education, it may be where you're flying a car or where you're selling it in a matter. But you have to equip yourself to be the best at what you are doing.
The workshop ends on Thursday in Abuja. Azenta Onwebile, NTA News.
Talking sports now, the new Super Eagles coach, Sunday Lise, was on Wednesday unveiled in Abuja. He's been assisted in this new job by Salisu Yusuf, Sponsor Losito and Aloy Agu. Manzi Marcus reports.
Leadership of the Nigerian Football Federation on Wednesday unveiled the new Super Eagles coach Sunday Ogochukwu Olise. His main task is to qualify Nigeria to the Championship of African Nations, the Africa Cup of Nations and the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia.
The contract binding NFF and Olise is performance-based and for 2 years with an option of 1 year renewal. President of Nigeria Football Federation Amma Joe Pinnick said discipline and membership of Olise in the FIFA Technical Study Group are among credentials the new technical advisor will bring to bear on his new job.
As a member of the FIFA Technical Study Group, which I know, you can move from the men and breath of the world, acquire knowledge, giving out knowledge, coaching coaches, teaching teachers.
The new coach, who has 63 caps for the Super Eagles after his
I'm proud to wear our colors. You are not doing us a favor by playing for Nigeria, but even I personally, I am not here because Nigeria is doing me a favor, but it's a honor for me to say I am my country.
40-year-old Sunday Olise replaced Tibu Keshi.
And for what the weather prospect will look like on Thursday, over now to our weather prospect.